The Cantalician Center for Learning is a school that provides preschool through school-age education to students with disabilities. We find that students come to us because of very unique needs that can't be met in their school district. It is our goal and our job every day to look at those children's individual education plans and provide them with the best quality of service to meet the needs of that specific child.
4410 programs are very important, not only to an 853 school, but also to public schools, because our students, when they leave our integrated or self-contained preschool programs, they're either going back to district or they're staying at an 853 school. A 4410 program is providing speech, occupational therapy, physical therapy, visual therapy, behavior therapy, and we're preparing kids for the school experience, for that kindergarten experience.
We're going to go upstairs. All right. Jackson, you want to lead the way? Okay. Let's go this way. Oh yeah. How's your day?
And I have new striped socks.
And new striped socks. Even better. Yeah, so from a physical therapy standpoint, one of the things we're worried about is with our students is all the adaptive equipment that we need for them. You know, to be able for these students to participate throughout their entire school day, they need chairs, for example. They need adaptive toilet seats. There are a number of things that just a typical day requires. That equipment is really expensive. Some of it is reimbursable, but it's a very unpredictable schedule, and it's hard for an administration to know how much really money they can designate to that, because they don't know if they're going to get that whole piece back. We just got to work with what we have.
I work with 6 students who are nonverbal, from nonverbal to verbal. They have a multiple variety of disabilities. 3 of my students are in wheelchairs or stroller chairs, 2 of which use walkers to get around the building. But the challenges we face are just resources and staffing. And I have 3 awesome ladies who work with me, but there's a lot of turnover throughout our agency. And if you're always retraining people, the students don't always get the consistency that they need and deserve. Every student in this room gets speech 3 to 4 days a week. They get OT 2 to 3 days a week, and physical therapy 2 to 3 times. So they're in and out of the room. I mean, I love what I do, and I'm blessed to be able to work here with such awesome students and staff.
Our ability to maintain and retain quality staff at Cantalician Center is greatly impacted by, again, the way our rates are reimbursed. So we get certain screens and thresholds we need to stay in regarding direct care costs for students. Because of that, we tend to have some high staff turnover, or we see staff getting better offers from districts, where districts potentially can control more of their costs. A school district can raise its school tax in order to cover the increased expenses here. I don't have that luxury. I'm at the mercy of what state ed is going to reimburse me for. They deserve tenured, well-qualified staff, just as every student in New York State does. Another unintended consequence of, again, increasing minimum wage is that the rest of the rates that we receive here didn't follow. Our wages begin to get compressed. You see the gap between the direct care staff and the professional staff start to decrease. Because of the raising in minimum wage, when they looked at the needs of fast food workers, and fast food workers, of course, need and deserve, a living wage. So now there are individuals that are attracted to work in fast food jobs, but those were the typical entry-level jobs that we offered here at Cantalician Center, and now I can't compete with the local fast food restaurants for wages because you've raised one sector of the population and not the other.
I'm Julie Weingarten. I've been a teacher here at the Cantillation Center for 5 years now. I teach the high school students. They are 17 to 21 years old. One thing that I teach is the vocational skills and life skills, such as sorting, packaging, budgeting money. We work on hygiene, folding clothes, how to make meals, and once they leave school, there's really only a few programs out there for them, and they need to be as independent as possible. So some of the challenges that we face in the classroom is a lot of the resources. Currently we have one van that transports the students to and from different jobs. We also have a challenge with keeping experienced staff and the retraining of staff. Sometimes it's very difficult because our students do have high sensory needs and behavioral issues, so at times the job can be difficult and the demands are high. We do still need to continue with having great staff want to stay here and all the resources that are needed. There is a lot that goes into getting these students ready for the adult world.
So there's a disconnect right now between the regional associates that approve us programmatically and rate setting. And when we want to do something new or different or change a staffing ratio or a pattern to adjust to the needs of the students and what's on their IEPs, we work with our regional associate and programmatically we get things approved. But there's a complexity then of getting that approved through rate setting. And so even though you've gotten the approval letter from one side of state ed, now you have to go out and get the approval letter from the rate setting side of state ed. Again, that time delay and the lack of communication between the two departments really puts a strain on our ability to serve kids, because regardless of their decisions, kids still come to school every day, and we need to be here ready to serve.
Unique schools like the Cantalician Center are in dire need of more state resources. Albany must do everything it can to support these schools and the professional, dedicated, quality educators who provide critical services to our at-risk students.